Hello, I am Carlos and this is my moment of music. Today we have a special episode because being June 11 we celebrate Richard Strauss's birthday. The German composer that is still an integral part of every orchestra programming around the world. Now, I have a question before we start. Do we consider him a gifted entertainer or a profound genius? This is a question that will arise several times in every program note whenever his music is being performed. His career started with a bit of fortune. He was born in a musical family that nurtured his talents, and that's the reason why before the 19th century was over, he was able to produce 10 tone poems that completely transform and revolutionize the expressive and technical possibilities of the orchestral writing. In this regard, and confessing to a unsuspecting friend, he admitted that he was able to describe the movement of a pencil from one side to the other on a table. Of course, his self-esteem was quite high, but it's nothing compared with what happened on the 20th century. As soon as this century started, he went on and composed 18 operas that dazzled and challenged and entertained audiences throughout the first half of the 20th century. In these operas, he reached the depths of the human expression, and at the same time, he pushed the envelope of what music could achieve. Some examples: Electra, Salome, Ariadne of Naxos. And then by the end of his life, he lived through the rise and fall of the Nazi regime in Germany. Throughout this time, he was able to navigate the turbulent waters of politics and survive and make his music survive for future generations. By the end of his life, he composed some of the most devastatingly beautiful pieces ever created. Metamorphosis for strings or the last 4 songs. Now, when social tensions bring the question, was he a sympathizer of the Nazi regime? I must say no. His family was in constant relationship, marriage, friendship with some of the Jewish part of an integral part of the population. As a matter of fact, one of his librettists, the person that wrote the libretto for one of his operas, was accused and sent and separated from society. And in this regard, he will personally go and recover this person from concentration camps in an attempt to demonstrate that he was not a sympathizer. He even went ahead and wrote, "Do you think that I consider myself German whenever I write music? Do you think Mozart considered or was consciously Aryan whenever he composed his music?" For Strauss, there were 2 kinds of people, those with talent and those without talent. And he effortlessly and consciously tried to demonstrate that his talent was the one that was going to speak for him. Now, he considered himself the very last of the great German composers, which is a list that must be impressive just to enumerate. For instance, it starts with Handel and goes with Bach, Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, Schumann, Schubert, Wagner, Brahms, Bruckner, Mahler. It is an impressive list, and he saw himself at the very last of this long tradition of German music hegemony. A hegemony that was being challenged by the start of the 20th century by every single person in the world. Now, this self-awareness is borderline with hubris, but at the same time is colored with some of the best examples that I have come across of humor in a composer. He said, "I may not be a first-rate composer, but for sure I am a first-class, second-rate composer." In this regard, he's trying to tell us that he himself didn't take himself so seriously. So, do we need to consider him a genius or an entertainer? There is certainly no doubt his music is going to be performed for future generations countless times. So we don't need to decide. His music still resonates with audiences today and still has a message that touches inside our human experience. That alone should suffice for us today. Happy listening. I hope you have a wonderful week.